Welcome back for this week's episode of Hard Money Monday. We are swapping time zones this week. So I'm so excited to have Leah on. She's actually in Spain right now, where she lives, and she's been killing it doing deals here. And so we're going to talk all about it. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much.
All right. So I know we talked about this a little bit before we went live, but we've talked about doing some deals together. Actually, I think the only deal you had funded by Rain City was another guy after I was like, yeah, we don't do those. And someone else was like, yeah, we do.
It was a while ago. Yeah, it was a few months ago. It was a deal I had. It was a rough situation, honestly. And I asked you about it, and you guys said you couldn't do it. I asked around, and eventually we made it happen with someone from your team. But I wish it would have been you.
I don't. He told me about that transaction. Sorry, he told me about that transaction, and I was like, yeah, man, you can take that loan. I'm cool with that.
Next
So
time.
I gotta ask though, because I feel like I first started seeing your name in Tampa Bay, like putting out deals probably around a year ago ish. And I don't
Exactly.
really know your story of how you got started, why you're living in Europe and doing deals here. So fill me in. What's your story?
So, about a year and a half ago now, I moved to the US. I moved to Orlando. It was because of my boyfriend, Arit.
Mm,
He got a scholarship to go to UCF. He's a great student. He was doing mechanical engineering at the time, and he got
yeah.
an exchange program scholarship to go there for a year, his last year. So I went with him. I am a nurse. I finished my bachelor and my master's in nursing. So I kind of had it easy to go there and work as a nurse while he was studying his last year. So we took that chance and we went there. We had we already had the thought about doing real estate, but
Mm,
the first thought was doing actually buying,
okay.
flipping, and then having a portfolio, and that's still the goal. But we figured that we didn't know anything about real estate.
Hmm,
We didn't have any connections. We started from scratch. So we kind of did some research, and we found wholesaling.
mm.
It was actually more my boyfriend. I was like more on the I was still
He's
but
a good student. So he was doing all the studying on how to do real estate.
exactly. So I was like, yeah, whatever. Just tell me about it when you find out. So he did some research, and he eventually found some mentorships.
Mm,
We talked with Jamil Damji at Astro Flipping. We talked with Kent Kang. I'm not sure if he's the one that does Let's Get That Money. He's that Asian guy. I'm
oh
pretty,
yeah, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
popular as well. We found Pace Morby, of course,
Mhm.
Tatch. So a bunch of them. So we asked him some information because we thought that maybe the best way to start learning and maybe
Yeah.
stay consistent was having someone that taught us and that kept us accountable. So we
Yeah.
ended up joining one of those mentorships, Astro Flipping, when we got there. We were there for like a month or so. We moved in August, and then we joined in like October. So we were there for like a month or so until we joined, and we
Mhm.
tried to do something on our own.
Yeah.
So for
This
me, it
was
was
October 2023, right?
uh
Or 20.
2023. Yeah, it was 20. We moved from Spain to Orlando August 2023,
Okay.
and by October we had already joined the mentorship. Um,
I was about to say we had already done a deal, and I was like, "What?
no, no, no.
In Tampa Bay? Wow! All right."
It wasn't that fast. No. So yeah, October we joined. At the very beginning, it was more about going through the modules and learning a little bit about the theory before applying.
Yeah.
So we really started taking action very early because we went to a bunch of meetups and started making those connections.
Yep.
And then we started like moving other people's deals because we didn't have any of ours at the beginning. So we just kind of connected people around.
Yep.
We were very close to getting our first deal 15 days into the mentorship. So it was like crazy. Just
Dang.
because I talk a lot. So that's one of, the good things about me. I have many, many bad things, but one of the good ones is that I talk a lot. So
We have the same problem.
we connected to people, and it almost worked out. But there was some mistake in the contract, in the original contract, where one of the lines had the wrong address. So the sellers didn't want to move forward with us because they got higher offers about after hours. So it didn't work out, but it was a great experience. Um, and then we finally got our first deal in December. The same way, we kind of just connected people. And then that's really how we got there, and the why. If you want to know why we got into all of this, so
You
like
didn't like being a nurse?
what was that?
You didn't like being a nurse or what?
I love being a nurse. I really like it. I enjoy it. It's I don't know if it's a word in English, but it's like, I don't know. I'm not gonna say a word because I'm probably
I
just
might
making it.
know it. I might know it. Say it.
It's like vocational, like it
Yeah.
calls you.
Yep.
So I really enjoy being a nurse, and I enjoy being with my patients, and it's a work that I really like. It's just that I don't want to see myself at 65 years old. That's the age that people retire in
Mhm.
Spain, dragging my feet to work every day, just because I have to. If I do it, I want it to be just because I like it and I want to
Yep.
spend time there, not because I need to work to live.
Yep.
um, and then we like the state, we like the United States, so we wanted to have the ability of being able to come to Spain if something good or bad happens, like maybe
Yep.
a sister gets married, or unfortunately someone passes
Yep.
away. We want to have the ability and the freedom to come
Yep.
here and then go back there whenever we want, and not depend on having maybe a boss that you need to ask for permission for. So
Yep.
that's really the why behind it.
Are you still a nurse or have,
I am a nurse. I'm not working as a nurse right now.
hmm,
Um, I had my work permit in the U.S. when I was there, but
hmm,
when the scholarship ended, we had to come back to Spain, and that's how we started
hmm.
business here.
So did you guys were you like just, oh cool, that's we'll just go back to Spain, everything continues as usual, or were you kind of bummed out?
uh, I mean, a little bit of both. In the US, we were alone pretty much. I mean, like when you talk about family and friends
Yeah.
that we've always known. So it was good to see family, but then we were kind of like, it's an expression that we have in Spanish, in our sauce there. Like we kind of just liked the you know the
Yeah.
people that we were surrounded with, and
Yeah.
we liked going to the events, and things had started to being we got deals consistently, and it was a great time. So it was like good because we were able to see family again, but bad because
Yeah.
our business is there, and although it's possible to do it from here, I think it's always easier to do it there.
Yeah. I mean, I was similar-ish experience, not to the same degree. So like where I'm from is, I mean, I have to take like 3 flights to get back to where I'm from, right? From Tampa. It's like pretty remote, like remote part of Michigan. But like
What?
I spent,
From Michigan, I do
yeah, yeah,
remember.
yeah, I'm from Michigan. Yeah. Upper Peninsula, if you're familiar.
Hmm.
And so I hate Florida summers. Can't stand them. Absolutely like don't like them at all. I was like, I'm not doing a Florida summer. And I was like, hey, I got into hard money lending for a very similar reason because I was like, I want to be able to live wherever I want. If I want to go to South America for a while, like I don't want someone to tell me no, and I don't want it to affect my business. And I've had that freedom, which is awesome. But I experienced a very similar thing. Like I went to Michigan for the summer, and then like I didn't go. Obviously, I didn't go to any events, right? Like I can't even lend in Michigan, let alone where I'm from. Definitely will not be lending in. And so, like you kind of miss out on all of it. And I was still doing my business, but it is really hard. Like one of the things I realized that's really fun about real estate is like you do a deal with someone and then you see it, like you get cigars with them or like you see them at the meetup and you're chit chatting with people. Um, and so I definitely agree with you there. I am curious, like once you guys, I know you're probably super involved in, you're still in Astro.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you're super involved there and like have maintain those virtual connections and everything. But when you guys had to go back to Spain, did it affect the numbers in your business at all, or were things humming along kind of at the same?
Mm, no, we actually got better results in
Really?
Spain. Yeah, I mean, I think it was just because of the timing. You know, the more you stay in the market or in the business, the more you get. Not because we changed countries necessarily. But no, it was even better.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so, what has been the biggest struggles of taking your business virtual, or have you not, has there not really been something that's like, wow, this is so much harder?
Mm, it hasn't been a lot harder. It's just that, for example, let's say I have a property, and it's a deal, and I don't have pictures. Uh,
Mm,
if I was in Florida, I would just take the car and go take them
yeah,
myself. But since I'm not there, I have to rely on someone to go get them. And
yeah,
people are, focused on their businesses, not mine, of course. So maybe I lose time because I don't have pictures, and maybe they're not available until, today's what, Monday. So maybe they're not available until Wednesday. So that's 2 days that I lose without pictures, and that I'm not able to market the property correctly. So
yep.
just little things like that that are always a little easier when you're there. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe some people don't trust me that much just because I say I'm in Spain, because I sound like a scammer, I guess. And I have to explain, no, I am no scammer. I'm just from here. uh, I've lived there, and I will go back. It's just that I'm here now. But those are being the fewest people. Not a lot of people thinks that.
Yeah,
It's more about the pictures and maybe like getting access to the properties. Then in some way, thank God I was there last year, and a lot of people know me face to
yeah,
face already in person.
right.
But there's a lot of people that don't know me yet in person, or that have just heard from me. But like, it's always the face to face interaction or the in person interaction is always better, because I feel it myself as well. When I talk to someone and I don't know them, or I don't put them a face, like I don't see their
Yeah,
face.
yep,
It's like, okay, like, I mean, I do talk to them and I do move their deals if they're good, but it's like I don't pay them that much attention, if it makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah.
Like, subconsciously.
Yeah, I feel like humans can't process that someone's real when you only see them online,
Yeah.
which is probably why you have keyboard warriors and stuff. But once you meet somebody in person, so I like, my whole company is basically, I'm like the only person in Florida. There's one other guy. So like I know everyone from my company online. Like I talk to people online almost exclusively. And it's hilarious. People always are different heights than you expect. You'd be like, man, you look so tall on camera, and then they're like 5'6", or like
How tall
so.
are you, Jared?
How tall am I? How tall do you think I am from this video?
I don't know. I have no idea. I think
I'm
you're pretty tall.
I'm 5'11", so I don't know. I guess it's slightly taller than average.
I'm 5'7".
Okay, okay. That's exactly what I was gonna guess from our live
Really?
stream. um, but yeah, also like once you actually meet somebody in person, especially when you've connected online, it like really cements that relationship as like, hey, we're friends now. You know.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I am curious. So this is something I've always wondered about. So it's kind of been my understanding, and like I'm an ignorant American, right? Like let's just be real. I don't know jack about how other countries work for the most part. And I'm like, my understanding is that the US is pretty much the only country with like super available public data on who owns what and systems to call them. And from what I'm told as well, like there's not really other countries where you can wholesale, and even fix and flip is not really common in other countries. So as someone who actually knows Europe, knows Spain, is that a thing? Like, do people flip houses there?
Um, some do. It's not very common, but the issue with flip wholesaling is not even a thing here. I don't think
Right.
that's allowed. And then flipping, I know some people do, but the issue is more about the taxes. Uh,
Hmm.
I'm not sure how the process works because I've never done it here, and I don't want to say anything that's a lie. But I am pretty sure that the taxes, or the fees and everything that you have to pay after collecting your benefits from flipping are pretty elevated. Up
Hmm.
to the point that I don't think it's worth it.
Really? So do you feel like there's just like a lot of just, I mean, obviously life happens everywhere. Like there's no way that, Americans, okay, probably more so, especially in Florida, like go through crazy stuff. I would say probably more so than like a lot of other countries. I think that's fair. But still, like there's got to be people in Europe where it's like, hey, I inherited this house, it's abandoned, there's squatters in here. Like there's definitely problems, right? So like do those houses just sit empty, nobody ever does anything with them, or do you have any
Squatters are a huge issue in Spain, like
really?
with capital letters. Yeah. Um, the let's say the government doesn't really help homeowners that have squatters.
Wow.
Instead, they protect the squatters. So, like for example, let's say I have a house, and they start paying the rent. Renters start paying the rent, but then they stop, so they become squatters, of course.
Yep.
Um, let's say I cut the electrical, I stop, the utilities. They can sue me,
Dang.
but I have no right to kick them out. There is some unofficial organizations that have popped up, and that people hire to kick
Yep.
renters out or squatters out. But it's risky. Let's say that in general terms, investing is not very attractive in Spain just because of the politics.
Yeah, yeah, it sounds like taxes and basically pretty tenant friendly. I don't know if you've ever heard of companies like this. There was a guy, I can't remember. Like I don't know if he's still doing this. I can't remember his name, but I think he kind of blew up on the internet for a little bit. But he started a business where he's like, he kind of thought to himself, he was like, well, just because there's one squatter in a house doesn't mean it's just their house. Like, why can't more people squat there? It's like, I'm going to start a business where if people are squatting in the house, I'm going to join them and be the worst roommate ever until they leave. And so people will hire him and be like, hey man, like, I don't know you. You just squatted in my house. And it just so happens that everyone else wanted to leave after you moved in.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah, yeah, right. It's like, I did also hear of one time a dude, he went to jail actually, but he had squatters in his house, and this is an area in the Midwest. And so, like, middle of winter, he's like, well, the doors and windows are mine, so I'm going to take them. And so he removed all the doors and windows from the house in the middle of the winter. And
Wow.
yeah, he went to jail for that. But it was because people were squatting in his house. And it's like, regardless, I mean, they could not have had a very enjoyable couple of days while the doors and windows were missing. Like, what are you
Yeah.
going to do? Arrest them and make them put them back on? Like,
If you do that in Spain, they can sue you. The squatters can sue you.
it's insane.
Yeah, that's why not
So,
many people invest in here in Spain.
so okay, I want to circle back to like just your wholesale business, because like I know how hard it is to wholesale. Like I did it for quite some time, and I just like what was it? We actually had Nathan Harris ask the question. He's like, hey, what is Leah's secret sauce? Because it's very difficult to wholesale, and it's one thing to be like, oh well, we start out moving other people's deals. Guess what? That's also very difficult, right? So are there things that because you and your boyfriend run the business together, correct?
Yeah.
And you guys have some virtual assistants as well.
No.
So it's just you two.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, we have one AgRep right now. He's still learning, so he's basically doing cold calling to agents. But we run it together.
I
Just
was
him and
gonna
I.
ask, like, is there things in particular you did that you feel like gave you guys the ability to succeed? And are you doing like the focus from the start was direct to agent, or are you doing any direct to seller? And I guess where do you see that going moving forward?
Yeah, so we started doing direct to agent. Well, actually, we started doing MLS listings at first.
Hmm.
Um, and then we kind of implemented direct to agent. So we run a text-based acquisitions operation.
Okay.
So the way we do it is we reach out to a bunch of agents every day. Um, and then we ask them, if they can help us purchasing a home.
Yeah.
And we explain, what type of home we're looking for. And then if they decide they can, they want to work with us, and they work with fixer uppers, that's when we follow up with them every month or so. We don't want to overwhelm them either, because not everyone gets deals all the time, so it can be a little overwhelming if you have someone asking, "Hey, do you have anything? Hey, did you get something? Hey, do you have anything for me?" every week.
Well, yeah, if we're talking about realtors, Oh, is that me or you?
That was me. That was me. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. It's like,
let me
wow.
shut that up.
If we're talking about realtors, it's like, yeah, most of them don't get a deal the entire year. So
Mhm. Exactly.
yeah, like actually though, like 50% won't do a deal in the entire year. Maybe they get a listing, but okay, are you using Astro Blaster or what is your process for that?
So up until like last month, I had Go High Level.
Hmm.
I got Nathan Harris
Yeah.
snapshot, and then I modified it. I took some ideas of out of his snapshot, and then we rebuilt pretty much everything. We built a dialer. We have changed all the automations and everything. Um, and then last month, we the only issue that we had is that we didn't have any AI. So most of the work that we did was just replying to agents saying they didn't have anything, and that's a pretty cheap
Yeah.
thing to do. So I like to invest my time in things that can give me more money. So we were doing some research, and we did know that Astro Blaster had some AI integrated that
Mhm.
would answer to those agents that respond saying they don't have anything. So we purchased Astro Blaster just about a month ago. We haven't implemented it yet. We're still working around and adjusting it to our system, because we are very picky, especially Arit, my boyfriend. He likes technology and stuff, and he's
Yep.
an engineer, of course. So engineers have that weird mind where they have to adjust everything to what they need. So we haven't implemented it yet, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
Nice. Okay, so direct to agent outreach. How often is it a struggle to overcome the whole like, hey, we need the assignability clause?
Uh, Not that often. I mean, and you don't even need it if you have enough room.
Yeah.
Um, so of course my preference is to have it.
Yeah.
Um, and then at the end of the day, when they ask, I always say it's because of tax purposes, or maybe I change my LLC and I create a new one for every property,
Mhm.
or I have different exit strategies. And at the end of the day, it's true, because I'm going to start buying as soon as I get there,
Yeah.
in March. So I do have different exit strategies. I might keep it, or maybe I can flip it. I can bury it. I can wholesale it.
Yeah.
So it's not usually an issue, but when it is, if I have enough room, I'll I'll do it without the assignability. I can double close it.
Yep.
Um, and if I look up a buyer and it's still not assignable, I will ask for the assignability when I have the EMD. And
Mhm.
sometimes they agree, sometimes they don't, and then I just double close. That's fine.
Yeah. It actually is wild to me that it's wild to me that agents care so much about that because it actually is like very common for people to lock something up in one LLC and then be like, hey, I'm gonna bring on a partner and we're gonna, buy this in two LLCs or like it's just like there's absolutely no reason. I get it. Like if somebody, you don't want a wholesaler. Understood. That's
Mhm.
great. Well, you're not really picking up the phone to find buyers. So that's kind of your problem as an agent because most agents don't do that.
Yeah.
Just to be frank. They throw it on the MLS and sit there and
And
wait
wait.
for the calls to come in,
Yeah.
right? But it's weird to me. It's like I find it that to be a very weird solution as opposed to like just a higher EMD. It's like who cares if it gets assigned or not? Like you want it
Yeah.
to close. If you want someone to be serious, just ask for more EMD. Like
Yeah.
I don't
That's
get it.
I kind of understand, because there's a lot of wholesalers out there that don't know what they're doing, and that makes us look bad. Um, I know a lot of wholesalers that all they do is just go on the MLS and offer half of what they're asking for, or, or that it's just ridiculous stuff. That's not the way to do it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I understand that it makes us wholesalers look bad, but it's not everyone that does it this way. I try to do very good business, and I have a lot of agents that send me properties that maybe are not in that bad of a shape, and I tell them, I'm not going to be the best buyer for this one. I try to be honest and transparent. I just don't throw offers out there just because I want it to be a win-win situation, a win for the seller and a win for me and for the end buyer, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish agents would think more about it. Like, hey, what if this is the price I could get you for sure? And I can make sure that we get 1,000 eyeballs on this from
Mhm.
actual buyers.
Yeah, I wish.
I would sign up for that. You mean like you're gonna make sure that 1,000 people look at this deal and call them, text them, do your entire system of making sure you get the maximum amount of people actually underwriting the deal?
Hmm.
Yeah, like please do that, because just throwing it on the MLS, especially now, like a year ago, okay, you throw something on the MLS, you'll probably get a lot of people looking. Now, like the MLS has plenty of stuff.
Yeah.
I tell a lot of people who are newer, they're like, oh, well, I'm just waiting for, I tell them like, hey, figure out your buy box, only buy in certain zips. Get good at these zip codes. It's like anyone who's really crushing it, I think, especially people who do less but better, they know their zips really well. Figure out your zip. Where do you want to buy? And they're like, hey, I'm just sitting around waiting for a wholesaler to send me something in that zip code. And I'm like, dude, half of the wholesale deals at least are MLS listings. What are
Hmm.
you doing? Just go and make offers in your zip code, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, we do a lot from the MLS, and I know some people are opposed to that, but I think there's great deals. And I think, I mean, when we do MLS listings, I have to say that it doesn't show any it doesn't give any value if I look up a deal above asking price. So that's not something I do. But I only do it if if it's been on the market for a while and I get a pretty significant price reduction, like like maybe 100,000 from asking price. I think there's value in there, but otherwise I don't do anything close to asking price, to listing price.
Yeah, I actually bought my flip wholesaler. He was gonna buy it himself and he wanted me to fund it. I was like, no, dude, I'll buy it from you. But it was listed and I only bought it for like 30 or 40K under asking price, like my price. Like,
Hmm.
dude, I don't care what it was listed for in the
That's
MLS.
it.
Like it's not. I underwrote the deal. Like this is a no-brainer. I don't. I'm still shocked by how much people care about asking price. Like
A lot.
just ignore it. Pretend
Mhm.
it doesn't exist. Like I don't care if you offer 100K under what someone wants or 20K over what someone wants. Like total distraction. If it fits your buy box, you're hungry for a deal, underwrite it and offer where you like it. Like who cares? They have to sell it, right?
Yeah, I agree, and I wish there was more people that thought that way. It's just that I can't send out a deal if it's very close to list to asking price, just because I have marketing expenses, and I know most of the people that I have on my list will not even look at it just because it's on market and it's close to listing price. But I
Yeah,
wish more people thought that way.
I know. It's there's a lot of psychology about buyers. And actually one of the things I find interesting is like I frequently will hear wholesalers say like, retail buyers are emotional, but cash buyers aren't. I'm like, are you kidding me? They're like, I mean, look, they're going to be more logical. Retail buyers probably 90% emotion, 10% logic. Off market buyers, probably 50-50. Like, if something weird comes up and they kind of get the ick, like a lot of times that's it. I have people that'll call me, they're hot and bothered about a deal. I want, like, let's close this ASAP. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. One weird kind of thing comes up that doesn't really impact the deal. They get the ick and they're out.
Mm, yeah,
So, um, yeah, it's just like there's for sure emotion from cash buyers,
I
100%. That's why it's
agree.
important how you present the deal. It's important how you talk about it. Putting out like even a good, clean, your guys' email is great. It's like, dude, you send somebody something that looks crappy. There's an emotional aspect to it. It's not
Yeah.
just the numbers.
And I think that's very important, the way you present it. That's pretty much, I don't know, like 50% of the deal. I have wholesalers that send me deals, or not even like this, where they just send me the address and the asking price, and I have like to take the information from them, like what is the age of the roof? Do you have
So
any pictures? When is the closing date? So if I have to battle to get those details, I'm pretty sure buyers will not even look at it. So that's why I try to take everything in a pretty clean way.
yeah,
I have all the details about the roof, HVAC, water heater, anything about the condition of the house that I am aware of. I try to put it there.
yeah,
Closing date, title information, everything, so that it's easy to look at it. Because
yeah,
otherwise, they have plenty of deals to look at every day. They have their inbox full of deals, good or bad. But if it's not clean and easy to look at, they will not even bother.
yeah, 100%. Like me, when I'm looking for a deal, even if it's little stuff, like people don't tell me if it's block or frame. I'm like, if I look it up, I take the time when I could be doing something else to look it up and it's frame. I'm pissed. I'm
Mm,
like, dude, why did you just waste my time? Like, give me the information. I have a clear buy box. I'm not an idiot. I have my buy box. If it doesn't hit it, I'm filtering it out. And I'm like, wow, I'm really glad I didn't have to spend time wasted on a deal that I wasn't going to buy. Um,
exactly.
so I'm 100%. I hate it when people do that. It's like a time respect thing. Like if you respect the time of your buyers, they'll respect you. Like, the trade off to that is they'll actually look at your stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah. Okay. So we're running a little bit short on time here. So I kind of just want to ask, like, wrap this up about like where you guys are going with the business, because I know you're talking about wanting to invest more, like buy rentals, buy some flips. And so are you guys going to try to make it back to the US, or is this going to be something that you're going to try and manage virtually? What's the game plan?
So yeah, we're actually moving back to Orlando in March.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah, and once we get there, we're gonna start buying. We're still gonna wholesale for active income, but our goal for the year is doing 2 burrs and keep them as rentals, and then at least 2 flips. So you're gonna
Nice.
see us buy as well, and then we're also gonna be doing direct to seller. After the holidays, we're gonna hire a VA. We have already everything talked about with the company. We're gonna hire a VA full time that's gonna do direct to seller. So bigger spreads there as well. So we have to scale the wholesale company a little bit more and then start the portfolio.
That's awesome. I love that. I will say one quick piece of advice on VA caller. The one thing that I've noticed most important is like data. Your direct to seller data, like if you have to get super niche with it, and that is the most important thing for results, in my opinion, from what I see from other people.
We'll need
So
to talk about that
yeah,
after the call.
I know. I'll tell you about how I know how other people do it.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining. This was awesome. I will actually, we'll have to connect when you move here, because I'm planning on moving to Washington State for most of the year and being like more virtual starting next spring. So, yeah, we'll have to get together in person. So, that relationship
Absolutely.
fully ends. But it was a pleasure having you on. Thank you so much for joining, and looking forward to talking more soon, do more deals together soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.